I am Abbot James Albers. I'm the Abbot of St. Benedict's Abbey, the 9th Abbot in the history of our community. When I was 6, we moved up north of Atchison to another little town called Bendina, population 150. Great place to grow up, the neighborhood we lived in. There are 7 of us in the family, so my parents and then 5 children. I'm in the middle of 5. Yeah, so sports is a huge, my family, growing up, going to, first of all, a small school, you were involved in everything from school play to athletics to student government. I mean, you just got involved. I was class of 17, high school 54. So you had to make the place function and have all those activities available to everyone. You had to get involved. And so athletics has always been a very big part of our family life. And, I probably too much to some extent. There's just, it's not very pleasant around my house when the Chiefs or the Royals are losing. It can be lots of yelling at the TV and it's just, and then even playing board games, it can be really competitive. Although there's one person that I just can't bring myself to beat, and that's my mother. So I graduated from Benedictine College in 1994 with a double major in theology and mass communications. And then for my seminary, I attended Sant'Anselmo in Rome and graduated with a bachelor's in sacred theology. I worked for a year and a half in the communications field for a large company based out of Lawrence, Kansas. And I think I was still considering religious life, but I was seeing someone at the time, and married life was looking pretty good. And my parents had just moved away from the town I grew up in and had bought a fixer-upper for a house. And so I was home on a weekend helping my dad reshingle the roof of the house. And we got done and we're on the back porch getting cleaned up before we went inside. And so my dad said, "Jim, are you still thinking about a religious vocation?" I said, "Dad, I don't think so." And then he turned to me and said, "Can I still pray for it?" And I don't, what you're supposed to tell your dad when he asks that, I don't know. But I told him no. I didn't think it would do any good. But he said, "Well, I'm going to anyway." I said, "Okay, it's more power to you." And then it was the following summer then that I came back up for a visit, really just to kind of get Father Meinrad, our vocations director, off my back because he was bugging me to come for a visit. So I came up for a weekend. I thought, that's that. I'm finished. And then he invited me up for another weekend, and it was at the end of that weekend that I asked for application to enter. My discernment to enter the monastery really is rooted in my family life. My parents always encouraged all 5 of us kids to consider the religious life, priesthood. A lot of times in the evenings, we're sitting around the dinner table. If the question of what are you going to do when you grow up would be thrown out there, my parents would always end in the discussion with the idea that we could be religious or priests. So they didn't pressure, just always put the idea out there in front of us. I had a great example of a Benedictine monk in my life, and my pastor growing up, Father Augustine, who's a member of our community, was our pastor for 14 years. Just a holy individual. And in fact, he retired back to the monastery shortly before I entered. And I can remember it very clearly, walking into the church the first time after entering the monastery. And I think he was 93 at the time, standing up in his choir stall and motioning me over to him and shaking my hand. He said, "I've been praying for this for a long time." So I'm named after actually 2 people. I chose to keep my baptismal name when I entered the monastery, when I entered the novitiate. We had the option of changing our name or having the abbot give us a new name. So I asked the abbot to keep my baptismal name. So I'm named after an uncle who died shortly after birth. It would be my mom's brother. She was from a family of 9. He was the one that didn't survive past early childhood. Died shortly after birth, and his name was James, so I was named after him. And then also named after my father. His name is Robert James, and so my mom and dad just flipped it around and made it James Robert. Never close yourself off to any possibility, and just always obviously, then once you've started down a certain path, you got to take that seriously and head that way. But just always being open to God prompting your heart in whatever